Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of the SA Cricket Podcast. My name is Mpho and Tim. I've got Tim here with me. We talk all things South African cricket, and as you see me in the white shirt, it kind of lets you know that its test season is upon us. Well, the key one. We're in the back end of November. We're not going to have tests in South Africa, but the big one is here. Everyone's been waiting for it. All you Indian fans who are sitting there at your homes watching us, please do like and subscribe. But most importantly, you've been waiting for this test series. Why? Because when you saw us win that World Test Championship, you were jealous. And then you said, come over. Come over to India and listen. And we're going to talk about all of that today, that in SA India series. But most importantly, as the strapline says, if you're watching us for the first time on YouTube, please do like and subscribe. We're also available on YouTube, on X. Please do follow us at SA Cricket Pod. We'll be tweeting throughout the test match. We'll be giving you news that are breaking in South African cricket right now. Obviously, Lutho Sipamla and Pranil Subrayana, that's the breaking news. They are coming into the SA squad for Kwena Mapaka and Mihlali Mpongwana. So, that's what you're here for, right? On top of that, if you are an audio person, Apple Podcasts and Spotify, hello guys. You guys have been growing consistently and we love it and we thank you very much. And to help our podcast grow, you can support us by buying us some coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SA Cricket Pod. We revamped with the contributions that have come through so far. So thank you very much. And we're looking to do more live shows and all of that as well. So yeah, we're looking to constantly trying to improve. And another way you can let us know is obviously on the other platforms, but also on sacricketpod@gmail.com. Our last pod got quite a few hits out of India, lots of comments on YouTube. Yeah, look, we try to respond where we can, and we respond to most of them. But Tim does all of that. Tim, it's looking gloomy here in Johannesburg, looking like if I won the toss now I'd bowl. How are you doing on your side of the world?
You'd definitely be batting over here. You'd definitely be batting. I've got the fan on in the background. It's 32 degrees. It's a batting day, boy. It's a batting day.
But you're good. You're doing well.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm a heat person. I'd much rather have the heat than anything else.
Okay. No, I get you. 100%. Yeah. It's an interesting one. For South Africa. Obviously, you see with the headline saying Test Series preview, India versus South Africa Test Series preview. That's what we're going to do. Our boys are at Eden Gardens, ready. They are looking down on the pitch and they're trying to figure out what those conditions are, how they're going to feel. And we remember, Tim, we sat here a couple of months ago saying, after the World Test Championship, saying, yeah, we're not mad we're playing India. What we said was, with Jasprit Bumrah playing as well as he is, we dare them to give us a pitch that works for the seamers. I think they listened to us, Tim.
I think it did, and I'm actually quite happy about it. I'm really positive. I mean, obviously, if I look at the stats, I look at the numbers, and I look at the fact that we've won one test match out of the last 10 in India. I mean, that's pretty damning in itself. But if you said to me, what do you want as a South African? What kind of pitch do you want? I want a pitch that's going to help KG. That's what I want. I want a pitch that's going to help KG at Marco and Vian and Corbin. Absolutely. Keshav will do the business on any given surface. He knows he can do that. So that's not an issue for me. I think India have made a mistake. I think that loss against New Zealand, I think that they've thought, you know what?
Yeah.
That we can't have Richard Turners. They don't know South African batters. They don't know the South African batters. I think they made a mistake here. I thought when they brought in Kuldeep for the Indian A squad as preparation for this test series, I was worried. I was going, oh goodness, they're going to play Jadeja and Kuldeep, and on day 2, it's gonna be a raging Turner. Everything that's coming out of the camp, from the players and the different journalists that are there, suggesting it's going to be anything but that. Yes, it is India, and it will turn, just not nearly as much as one would normally expect, which I think plays to our hands.
Yeah, it does. It does. And to a certain extent, the next test match, I think that is in, it's giving you a sense of where it's in Guwahati. That one might be a raging Turner. And also they've got light issues. They were starting 30 minutes earlier. So you have two different prospects, right? And I do think India are holding their cards for that second test match. In case they do end up losing this one, they might revert back to the mean. But oh, how we are so prepared. It's the first time I go to a series and I'm very prepared, right? It's like, this is like the final frontier for us, but like I feel like we're the most prepared side we've ever been for these conditions. Give us a raging Turner, it's our spin triplets. Give us, something with a bit of verse swing, bring Kagiso in, bring Mpho in, and your discussion is whether it's Corbin or Vian, right? And so with that, let's start, right? So it looks like it's going to be a pitch where it's going to take some pace, and obviously if you're batting last, the spinners are going to come in, but it looks like a 2-spinner pitch, right? So let's have a look at that. Tim, which of your 2 spinners are you picking? Are you going 2 spinners or are you going 3 spinners?
No, everything. I mean, this, of course, if this was Australia, I would say this is probably the biggest con in history, as in they're putting us in a phase of not playing the 3 spinners. But I don't think India is doing it. I don't think that they have that Australian way of doing things. So I think it's the 2. I think it's Kashraf and Simon. I think, and we've got. I mean, I know we have. If we're really desperate, we've got Aiden. But I don't think we're going to need more than the 2. If everything that's coming out from the camp, Kashraf and the various journalists suggests 2 spinners, because I think it will, as the test goes on, 3, 4, and 5, it will turn. I think that'll be more than enough. I really don't think we're going to need to play Sen in this test match.
Yeah, no, it's not one of those situations, and Sen would feel unlucky to be left out. He was named today the ICC Player of the Month. Congratulations to him and Laura Volfart as well. But most likely he's not going to be playing on Friday. But yeah, massive achievement from Sen. He single-handedly, he was man of the series and really, really helped us win that second test against Pakistan. Moving over to the all-rounder spot. Obviously, you're looking at it, Tim, from a composition perspective. You want to go 7-4 with an all-rounder that can bat. But then the question we have, depending on the conditions and what the conditions are doing, will Vian Mulder's swing be better than be effective? Actually, let's do this. Vian's batting is better than Corbin's, right? But will his bowling be just as good as Corbin's batting? Because at the end of the day, that's what we're kind of looking for, right? You're sacrificing Vian's batting for Corbin's bowling to see if you can't get thingy, but you also want him on the other side to be able to score runs, a bit of runs. But you're on the other hand, if you pick Vian, you're going for the batting option with Vian's bowling, right? And that for me, that's what I'm saying. It's Corbin. For me, it's Corbin's batting, what he adds there, and what Vian brings with the ball, right? When you look at it, how are you separating those two? Because essentially that's the question for that second all-rounder. We can talk about Kagiso, we can talk about Mpho, that's a shoe-in. The 2 spinners we both agree on. The batters are largely set except for 2 more spots. One of those is this one. How do you wrap your head around whether you take Corbin or whether you take Vian? And most likely, remember, Vian could bat a 3 and make your batting lineup a lot longer. He has an average this year Vian's average this year is 83. Yes, Mr. 367, we see you. But Corbin's average is actually 136. He's also scored a test match 100 this year. So where are you sitting on this? Because whenever you give Corbin's that guy. Because my thing is, if let's say you lose the toss and you're bowling first, Corbin would be very, very helpful for you in that third innings as you're trying to find something if the pitch dies out.
Yeah, this is a really, 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 really difficult decision. And you, for the reasons that you outlined, it's what are you wanting to get from the individual? All-round package, you're probably going to go with Vian. Particularly with, I know that Shukri would probably like to have Vian at 3. He sees that as his position. He sees that as everybody else below that comes in at a softer ball. So he wants somebody like, for example, a Stubbs or a Brevis to come in with the ball as soft. He doesn't want those guys to come in with the ball as new and Bumrah's facing. So he's probably going to lean towards Vian for that, because he wants those attacking batters to have an impact. If those attacking batters are coming in at 40 for 3, they're very unlikely to have the impact that Shukri wants. So he's probably going to lean towards Vian. I'm going to go with the informed chap. I'm going to go with the guy that has had a very good tour of Pakistan, who is delivering, who is impactful, who is delivered on flat pitches, because I know what they said on this pitch. This pitch could, at different stages, it could require somebody to put the hard yards in. That's what it could require. Yeah. And I don't see that being Marco's job, for example. And I don't want to overburden. I don't want to overburden Kagiso. I want him to be wicket taker, and I don't want to overbowl him. Let's put it that way.
Look,
I'm going to some extent. So I'm going to go with Corbin. Corbin is the guy but it's a very, very tough decision to make.
It is a tough decision, but Tim, on my side, I look at this, right? Corbin has just scored this year 100. Was against Pakistan, but he did a really great job scoring that 100 with the bat. He's actually someone you can trust lower down the order and give you handy runs. He's he's of the Jadeja mold in terms of batting, can hang around, can command, can, move the ball around. He's no mug with the bat, right? And so I look at Corbin's batting and I look at Vian's bowling, and my Corbin would be more effective in this test match, along with the fact that with the ball, he rips it at 150. So then you have 3 pacers who will rip it at 150 and still cause batters trouble, even when the pitch is flat. And I think managing those would be great, along with the Simon, along with the Kagiso, who is working really well, and also Marco. Marco's no Marco with the bat. So I'm with you. I'm sitting with the Corbin. I just feel sorry for Vian, right? If he can't bat, if he's going to be a number 3, he has to bat everywhere. And so I'd be okay if you picked Vian in the side and then said to me, no, Mpho, I disagree. I think Vian adds something different with the ball. And the only problem is you kind of need Vian at the front end of the innings when the ball is a little bit harder and it can move around. We know that that's not going to happen for too long. In South Africa, yes, you can have Vian around because you can play a 7-4 split. The games don't last that long. Batters are not going to bat you into the ground as much as you would get at Eden Gardens if we get it wrong. And I'm looking at, can I get 20 wickets? I think I can get 20 wickets with this 5. And the 5 is Corbin, Marco, Kagiso, and the 2 spinners, right? But I also wouldn't be surprised if Shukri comes tonight and sits the boys down and says, Marco, Kagiso, Keshav, and Simon, you're my bowlers for this test match. Vian, you come in as the batter, and you'll bowl when needed, right? Because that's the question, right? This is the thanks for coming award, right? But I know that from a batting perspective, all our batters are going to bat, right? So the question for me is, what gets me 20 wickets? But on top of that, I think lower down the order, Corbin can give us something, right? Not taking away from Mr. 367. I think for me, it's the style of bowling. I think, Vian doesn't bang it into the pitch like Corbin does. Corbin, every time you give him a hard task, he gets it right. So I'm willing to go with the hot hand, but not saying that Vian's not the hot hand. He averages 83 in this year. He's scored 586 runs at an average of 83, high score of 367. He's the only Protea with 200s, right? So you're sitting here with a team that, on the face of it, can chop and change, and you gotta trust Chooky. So for me, from a bowling perspective, that's my 5. I think I'd keep Corbin. Tim, the bigger question is on the batting. I think that is more. That's a tougher one to take, but let's go with the ones we are sure of. Opening, you've got Aiden, you've got Rix. Number 3 is a question between TDZ, Bavuma. Sorry, Stubbs. I just need to put up Stubbs. Yes. TDZ, Bavuma. Stubbs and Tony DeZorzi at 3. Bavuma will bat at 4. At 5 is a question about Devil Brevis. And potentially Stubbs here at 5 to go back to what it was. And then at 6, you've got Calvarena. All right. Let's look at number 3. If you look at the stats, right? Tony DeZorzi this year, 4 matches, 216 runs. He's got a century at an average of 36. Tristan Stubbs hasn't had a great year. He's played 4 games, only scored 96 runs at an average of 13 with 150. That was the 76. The 76 was against, it was early in the year, I think it was against Pakistan or Sri Lanka. Where do you sit on this one? Has Tony done enough to stay in the squad and be in the squad as a number 3?
To your first question, yes. To your second question, no. As in, I've got him, but I'm not having him as a number 3. The way he played the Pakistan bowlers, particularly the spinners, with the ball was slightly older, made a huge difference to his game plan, the way he went about it. He put away his expansive way of going about it, which he does do in the white ball stuff, and where he rotated the strike, batting at 5, was hugely, hugely impressive. Not something that I saw on my bingo card this year. I did not see Tony DeZorzi making 100 against Pakistan in Pakistan. That's not something I saw. Not something I predicted at all. But the way he goes about it was hugely, hugely impressive. He found a way to maneuver the strike. I don't want him to come in early doors. If I think we are going to be down a couple potentially with Bumrah with the new ball, world-class bowler that he is. I don't want him facing Bumrah after in the 6th over of the match. I don't want that. If he is, he's not going to make it. In my prediction, he's just going to struggle. I want him to come in when Stage was bowling and the ball's a bit older and he has to maneuver the strike. So he comes in, absolutely. His performances in Pakistan warrant him staying in the 11, but it's in at 5 for me.
Okay, at 5. Then, in that case, who bats 3?
I'm going to die.
And do you trust the Tristan if it's a 3?
I'm going to die on this hill. His game is struggling. He is struggling in this format. But I'm going to die on this hill until it breaks. Or, hopefully, it succeeds. We saw a glimmer of hope in the second test match in Pakistan, I'm going to go with Tristan. I've said for weeks now I don't want Vian at 3. If we're going to play Vian, it's got to be at 6 or 7 down there. It can't be at 3. I don't care how many runs he scored there. Tristan Stubbs has the technique. Where is he mentally? If he is mentally good, in a good place, and is hitting the ball well at the nets, I hope he is. Tristan for me at 3, and I just hope it's going to work out for him because I genuinely think he is a 3. Test match number 3. He's got to turn the corner and prove it to us on a consistent basis.
Look, it sounds like I think some of the viewers and listeners will be like, but Vian is an option as a batter, and what Vian presents is the ability to keep one of these guys in the team. I think essentially from a batting perspective, it's number 3 and number 5, and it's down to 3 people. Well, you can add a 4th, but that 4th person is there. But the 3 people are Tony, Stubbs, and Brevis, right? If you add Vian in there, Vian will slot in at 3, but fundamentally you'll still try to figure out what you do with Tony, what you were doing with Stubbs and Brevis. And there's still 2 spots. If Vian is there, it just means Kyle bats at 7, and then you still have 2 spots in there, right? I think Vian works for Tony because you can have Vian, Timber, Tony, and or Stubbs or Brevis in there, right? To fit your thing. If you don't play Vian, Tony's argument is he needs to bat at 5. I don't want Tony batting at 5. He is an opener. Play him where he's best. And so the top of the order makes sense. Tony at number 3 makes even more sense. He has to find a way to play the ball that comes in at him and holds its line. He just keeps on fishing around that off stump from a pace perspective. And maybe because of the way this pitch is, you don't play Tony in this test match, you play him in the next test match, and you ride with Vian and Brevis. I'm not willing to give Stubbs another chance. I'm not sure about you guys. I have the faith, but from a confidence perspective, I think we need to rebuild it. This is not the tour to rebuild the confidence. He is a fighter, and he is he's a fighter, and he's got the talent, and he's proven that in some of the big moments he can. Pakistan in 76 was amazing. He fought. However, again, I look at the numbers this year, and you cannot justify that selection. Yes, I get cricket as an eye test, and it's been the biggest frustration for me because the eye test tells me he's got it. But an average of 13 this year tells me you shouldn't be there, right? But you are. So I'd like to keep Devil Brevis. I think he adds something at 5 or 6. I think Devil has done enough to get there. Is he going to score you 100? Highly unlikely at this stage. There is a slight possibility that he can. Can he counterpunch when you're in trouble? Yes, he can. Does he have a higher ceiling than Tristan? Not sure, but it's leading that way. Is he informed compared to Tristan? Yes. So pick the guy. So my thing is, you go Tony and you go Devold, right? If you don't want to go Tony, you go Vian, but then you have to pick one of. You still have the situation of whether you're taking Stubbs or not. I'm not, unless if they see something in the nets. But at this point in time, I don't think so. And I think Tony was a blessing in disguise in Pakistan because he proved that he can bat at 3. So play him at 3. Right, for these next 2 games. Give him that long run, play him at 3. Next game, with Tusami's coming in, a safer pair of hands with the bat. Apologies. There's a lot more that you can do there, right? But for this game, Tim, I'm going Tony, I'm going Brevis, I'm dropping Stubbs, and you are taking Stubbs. You are not taking Brevis.
Correct. You make a valid argument for him. And when I was putting my 11 together, I did actually have him in my 11 originally for that impact because I'm not overly concerned, but I'm a little bit I want to see more from Kyle in terms of batting. I'm not overly concerned, but I just want to see a little bit more from him. So, would he work with somebody who has the potential to put pressure on the opposition? And know that Shuki would like to play him. Because in these conditions, that sort of player could work really, really well. It could work
Yes, and
wonders.
it fits into our ability, our strategy against playing on these wickets, being aggressive, moving through. The question I would have is, if you are picking Tony as well in this team and Brevis, Stubbs is the one who's a little bit more aggressive than Tony, right? So that would go against that whole plan. But on my end, that's the reason why I have him there. I need someone who can attack. Him and Kyle can attack from that little corner. Gives Corbin the opportunity to attack at 8, 7. This so high. Ooh,
I
so high.
I see. I want Corbin to do that job. So obviously, I'm big boy purpose. So I want Corbin to do that job. Now I'm not
do
saying
that counter-attacking job.
the counter
Okay.
that sort of job. So for Bradford, take the game away. Half an hour partnership with Kyle takes the game away from India potentially.
Okay.
You play with ultra attacking, but it is an interesting one. I could definitely see Brevis making that. But what it is Tony's selection in Pakistan has complicated things. If he was not selected, I would be picking Brevis definitely for that impact. But I just look at Tony's performance in Pakistan. I'm going, why you played the spin? That's what we need. We need somebody who has the ability to not get bogged down. That's what his strength was in that series. To not allow bowlers to bowl at him. So we'll see.
On the other batting front, I think Aiden and Ricks are on form. Rickleton scored 436 runs this year at an average of 72. He is on fire. 100, 150. Aiden Markram, 264 runs at an average of 37 this year. Carl Verena. I know sometimes we think, we're worried about Carl, but if you listen to this, 236 runs at an average of 33 with 100 this year, and obviously the winning runs in the World Test Championship. I can't go without saying that. Are you worried about Carl?
So it's one score of over 50 in his last 10 innings. And those other innings are 20s and 30s and 15s and single scores. It's that really good 100 and then a whole lot of, mostly low scores. I think there was a decent 30 there somewhere on the way.
Yeah, so he scored 100 in the New Year's Test, and it's gone 13, 4, 10, 36, 42. That's Zimbabwe. 2, 19, and 10.
Yeah. So,
but
last year
we don't have another keeping option.
No. So last year he averaged 34. This year he averaged 33. I'm not overly concerned. I'm not. I just would like to see more from him, from my batting, a little bit more. I've always said, if your keeper is doing his keeping job and he averages around 34, that's fine for me. I don't need Jamie Smith. I don't need my keeper to average 50. I don't need him to average 50.
But the Indians will tell you that Dhruv Jurel just scored 120 against SAA, and he's the second coming of Mahendra Singh Dhoni and all of these other things. But you want a guy to average. I think Dhoni averaged in the 30s anyway. But anyway. So, look, I'm not worried about Kyle. Sorry about that. Just playing around.
No.
Yeah. What I'm saying is I'm not worried about Kyle. Just like I'm sitting here going, you know what? He's done his job this year. If my keeper scores 100 every year, that should give should put him in. And based on the last World Test Championship cycle, he's been very good for us. Very, very good. Now, the other question is, Tim, what Bavuma are we getting? What Timber Bavuma are we getting? I know Shukri in the press conference today effectively said Timber's our best batter, and to a certain extent in the last World Test Championship cycle, he was the best in the world. Are we going to get that best in the world Timber? What does he do to this team? Shukri spoke about how he lifts the team and they're happy to have him around. But what does Timber's presence with the bat coming in at number 4 do for this team?
Wonders. Absolute wonders. It's remarkable that we did as well as we did against Pakistan and came away with something without our best test batter over the last 3 years. It is remarkable. In terms of test experience, it's huge. It's absolutely huge, and it'll be a huge asset to those guys that we are a little bit concerned about. So if he's batting there with somebody like Tristan or with Brevis, they then have the ability to play a little bit more of their natural game, and he can be the rock. It's absolutely huge. You know my feelings on this. I really hope fitness-wise he stays strong. I really, really do. I still stand by what I said a couple of weeks ago. I think he needs to make a decision on a format. But I would hope, I really hope that he stays fit for the foreseeable future, because we are a better team when he's in it. We are a better test team, undoubtedly, when he's in the team.
Look, when we come back from injury, wrap him in cotton wool. He doesn't even need to play for the Lions. Give him some commentary gigs for SA20 and stuff. Keep him busy. Just take him out of this. We need him. We really do. He's really good. Like, I can't say much. Like, my worry is that hamstring. And my worry is he bats for like 3 hours. That's when I enter into worry mode with Timber. I think, he loves batting long innings, but the longer he bats, the easier it is for him to pull a hamstring again, especially in those conditions. So we hope that fitness-wise he's great. And I think, Tim, we have our 11. And it's Aiden Ricks, Tony or Stubbs, depending on how you feel, Bavuma, Brevis. So we agree on Brevis there. And Carl
So I don't have Brevis in my 11.
Oh, you don't?
I understand. I don't, no.
Yeah. Oh, I do. So we've got 2 11s, but let's see who makes it in, because we agree on the bowlers. It's Corbin, so it's Marco, and all of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Win the toss, Tim. What do you do?
Let's bat. No, let's bat. Let's not really.
Why is even a thought, Tim? If you win the toss in India, you bat first. You know this.
No, of course. No, of course.
We've gone through Indian tours where they even brought Timber out as a team mascot to call, and we still lost the toss. We need to break it. But okay, so let's look at the Indian team just a little bit. The test squad is Shubman Gill, Rishabh Pant, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Dhruv Jurel, Devdutt Padikkal, KL Rahul, Sai Sudarshan. The all-rounders are Ravi Jadeja, Nitish Kumar Reddy, Washington Sundar, Akshar Patel. Akash Deep are the bowlers, Jasprit Bumrah, Kuldeep Yadav, and Mohammad Siraj. From a batting perspective, Tim, who do you think we're going to get?
Well, I'll just give you some breaking news, because I do have X on my laptop here.
Yes.
Nitish Reddy has been released from the squad.
Okay.
I don't think he was gonna play anyway, but he has been released from.
If they're going with all-rounders, they're going with spinning all-rounders, because that's how it works, right? So the way I see it from bowling up, and the Indian fans can come at me, it's Bumrah, it's Akash Deep, it's Siraj. That's the 3 that you get, right? They're going to live and die on this hill. Akash Deep looks like Mohammad Shami. He's the replica of that, the replacement, the ideal replacement, line and length, top of off, especially on these conditions when it gets flatter, he's more accurate. That's the type of bowler Kashdeep is. Jasprit Bumrah, you know him. If there isn't a Kagiso, he's the best bowler in the world. And this series is going to prove who the best bowler is in the world because you're building pitches for him. And then Mohammad Siraj. We know how he does when Bumrah plays. He's like a guy in the field. He's like, that's fine. Take Bumrah out the team. Siraj is dangerous. So, but if Bumrah's in there, he doesn't take the responsibility. But he's still a quality bowler, very very top tier quality. From a spin bowling perspective, I think they go Ravi, Jadeja, and Akshar. They have the same issue with Kuldeep on pitches that are not spinner friendly. I don't think they pick Kuldeep here, Tim. Are you with me here on this train, or you still?
No, I am. When he was put into the Indian A squad, I thought, well, he's going to play both tests. Then I put him in the India A squad. But when he came wicketless in both innings, I wondered whether they thought, hang on, maybe not.
Maybe Guwahati. Maybe Guwahati.
Yeah.
No, because
I'm with you. I'm with you on the spinners.
Tim, it would be a travesty if South Africa went to India and they never gave us at least one raging turner, where you went with 3 spinners and 2 quicks, where you could even rest Bumrah and play Akashdeep, Siraj, Kuldeep, Akshar, and Ravi Jadeja. But there's another obviously question about Washington Sundar and Akshar Patel. I'm picking Akshar Patel. I don't know how the Indians are feeling. I think that's where they're going to sit. And Akshar Patel's bowled well against South Africa. Jadoo is just Jadoo. Like, there's nothing more I can do about that. He's sensational. He's probably the key to unlock this game. So, like, in South African parlance, like, I look at Corbin as the guy who can unlock this game for us with both bat and ball. Jadeja's that guy for them. They're looking to him. Obviously, if Kagiso and Bumrah come to the party, they need some help. He's that next guy. Because everyone else here can hide, but Jadoo doesn't hide. And similar to the way we speak about Corbin, right? And I hate to put this pressure on Corbin, but he wants it. So, Corbs has that key to unlock the gate. Batting-wise, it's a little bit different. Tim, you've got obviously the question between Punt and Dhruv Jurel. I think they're going to go with Rishabh Pant, which kind of means that Gill, Jaiswal, Padikkal, Sai Sudarshan, and KL Rahul are going to play. And then Dhruv Jurel is going to be the batter sitting out on the side. So you got Rahul opening, Jaiswal opening with him, Gill coming in at 4, with Padikkal coming in at 3, and Sai Sudarshan probably batting at 5, and then Rishabh Pant at 6. That's how I see it from their perspective. But
I do see it. I do wonder if they're thinking of playing Jurel as a batter, because by all accounts, we didn't see, but by all accounts, he was extremely impressive against our A side. With the hundreds there. I wonder if that is a consideration. I think you're right. I think they're going to go with Punt, and they're going to go with the stand-in batters that they've got. But I just wonder if, because of these performances, it might warrant playing Jurel as a batter.
So here's the case. And I think the batters who we're not sure about was Padikkal. He has been a protege. He did play SAA, didn't do much there. To write off home, similar to Punt and Jurel. So Padikkal's only played 2 tests. He has an average of 30. Let's get that for you. He's only played 2 tests, 3 innings, an average of 30, 90 runs. Nothing to write home about, but we know the talent. We've watched the IPL. We know the talent. But if you look at the Indian test squad this year, their batting records, Dhruv Jurel has played 3 matches, 5 innings, scored 228 runs at an average of 57. Right? That's 20 more than our wicketkeeper. Yeah. But anyway, Sai Sudarshan coming back into the side, 273 runs at an average of 30. Right? So, and his strike rate's at 45. Yes, they were playing in England. It is a little bit tougher. I'm not sure how they feel about Sai Sudarshan, but I feel like there's a talent there that want to give it a run. So it could be that Padikal is the guy who sits out, and they you live in a land of wicket keepers, 3 wicket keepers all in a row playing, which would be fascinating because Shubnam Gill's averages 69. He's about to score 1,000 runs this year. He just needs 31 more runs, 21 more runs actually. KL Rahul, an average of 53 this year, 300s, 350s. Shubnam Gill scored 500s as captain. Jaiswal scored 300s and 250s, and that's an average of 44. Jadeja averages 87 this year. Rishabh Pant averages 64 this year. So their batting lineup is their strength. But Tim, what don't they know? What don't the Indian faithful know about what we do?
They know now that I think in recent series we haven't had the spin arsenal to counter them. I think we now do. I think we have 2 individuals who know their game extremely well. They know exactly what their jobs are. They are very, very good at what they do. And they are both wicket takers in this format. They are not the types that are just going to hold up an end and just keep things tight. They're both going to want to get wickets. I genuinely think that. I genuinely think.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time we had 2 spinners where I thought, you know what, we've got it. We've got a chance here.
And don't overlook Kagiso's quality and Marco's quality. What they got against England was just, I don't know what it was. I really don't. It was just like at times Ben Stokes is the best bowler on that team. And that's a bit of a problem. But you're not going to get the same bowling attack that they've gotten against England. And yes, the talent is there for all 5 of them. We know how devastating they can be. But we also know what they can be when they come up against South Africa, which is why, go back to that initial one, why make the conditions friendlier to the South African side? There'll be a bit more bounce. There'll be a bit more pace. We're going to be able to hit the ball through the covers. We're not going to have to be nudging and nurdling for singles, trying to watch the ball out the hand because it's going to turn. That's our weakness, right? Yes, you can be like, we're taking Boomer out of his element. However, we're bringing in so many other players in there. And that's so, but we're thankful that, you want your fast bowlers to shine. I hope that continues, and that continues in Guwahati. But it's a massive series for them. This is kind of like one of their first tests. If they really want to make the World Test Championship, they have to beat us 2-0. They have to. You cannot surrender a test for us, which is why I would have rather made this one a raging turner, beaten South Africa here, and then give those guys up north a chance at showing to the world that your bowlers can bowl everywhere. Your fast bowlers can bowl everywhere. Well, it might just end up, and I think it will, Tim, being a situation where our fast bowlers show the world that we can bowl everywhere, and we embarrass India. Because all I need is one. I don't want to win 2-0. I just need one win. If I get 2, it's a plus. We just need 1. And so, Tim, who are the players in India that you are most worried about that we need to get out early? In my head, it's Jaiswal and Gill. KL Rahul doesn't play well against us. Okay, at home he does, but away from home, not so well. At home he does, but in South Africa, he's very good.
Yeah.
But I think you need to break that opening partnership, and you need to make sure Shubnam Gill goes back into the hut. There'll be lots of pressure on them, and I think if we put them under pressure early on, we win that game, which is why Kagiso is so important. And they just gave him conditions where he can just be so great.
And, and Punt. You can call it the tail wag. You call it the tail wag at all. You get Punt out early when he comes in. That 9, 10, and 11 are not going to make much.
Yeah.
If he's there, they might. But if he's not there, they won't make much. So,
and you also have to look at Jadeja and Akshar Patel. I think they're going to be quite a interesting prospect for them. And this is where Akshar makes his money, test matches at home. So Yeah, look, it's going to be tough. Okay, Tim, I know we want one win from a South African team. Who do you think will be man of the series at the end of it all, from a South African perspective?
It's a difficult one. Um, it's either going to be Timber, or he's just going to play the spin off the park, or one of the spin twins is going to do the business for us. While so you could see Keshav again. Keshav getting the accolades. Keshav will probably bowl more than Simon. Will so potentially get more wickets than he does. So it's between Keshav and Timber for me. Either one will do.
I got my money on Aiden. I think Aiden finally proves to us that he's the guy. He's shown it in the World Test Championship final. Pakistani did try, and there were glimpses, and we were like, "Ooh, that's interesting." But I think this is the one he wants. This is it. I think Aiden comes out as man of the series if it's not Timber or Keshav. I think, yeah. Or Simon Harmer. Simon Harmer is going to be the surprise package. They can play Keshav well, and then the off spin of Simon is what gets them going. But essentially what they've done is they've brought Kagiso and Marco into this contest, which plays into our hands so much more. So much more. Because here's my thing. If we go to Guwahati, right, and it's a raging turner, I wouldn't put it past Shukri to go Kagiso, Corbin, Sen, Kesh, and Simon.
Yeah.
Right. So I know Corbin's going to play one of the games, and I think he might do the whole Pakistan bait and switch where Vian comes in, and then doesn't play in the next test. But I do think then he pulls out Marco and he plays Corbin, because that's going to be a tougher ask. But you've got the 3 spin triplets. But yeah, look, I think for me that's where it is. Win the toss, boys, bat first. Please win the toss, boys, bat first. Any final words, Tim, before we close off? It's going to be an incredible series. It's going to be exciting. What else are you looking at, and what are your final words?
I'm looking at the two youngsters. The two youngsters. I'm looking at them. So we are worried about both of them in different access. I want to see Tristan cement his place. That's what I want to see. I want to see Tristan cement his place at number 3, and to finally, because if he does, if he ends the discussion at 3 against India, then the discussion is finished. It's done, because Tristan will score runs in South Africa. I'm absolutely convinced of that. But if he scores runs here, batting at 3, end of debate. Thanks for coming. Fian was lovely, but your position is 6 or 7. That's where you need to be, and that's what I want. I want that debate to end after this series. So it's all up to you, Tristan. Finish the debate.
No, yeah. Look, I think for me, it's that. But I think it's going to be an important series for Carl. I think Carl comes through as well, and Ricks as well. Ricks hasn't had the best of years with the bat since the World Test Championship. I think it's time. I think it might be time with SA20 coming out. It's the start of him finding the middle of his bat and putting pressure on him. And then look, first innings 350 plus. There's no two ways about it, right? 350 plus, and the ball's in their court. With the batting that they have, some people might say 400, but yeah, 350 keeps us in the game. It gets us going, and it's over to you, bowlers. Take us home. But yeah, look, the first test match starts on Friday, and then the next test match, I think, is on the 23rd or the 20th, the following week. So, yeah, please be on the lookout for that. We'll be back. But this is your first. Oh, it's on the 22nd. So it's in a week's time after the match. But yeah, this is your first India versus SA Test Series preview with all the marbles on the line. Not all, but the World Test Championship points on the line. South Africans looking not to lose the series, and there's a massive opportunity on the cards if the pitch conditions are what they are, for the Proteas to come through and let their superiority with the ball trump anything that India brings with the bat. But yeah, we'll be back. Remember, you can follow us on X at SA Cricket Pod. Let us know your comments and the like on there. Please also do follow us on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, please do so there. Like and subscribe as well. You can also buy some coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cricket SA Cricket Pod. I'm going to put up the QR code for you to buy some coffee. I'll just leave it on until the end of the show, so you can click on that and support us there. But remember, we're also on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Oh, Tim, test match starts on Friday morning, 6 a.m. We'll be up with our coffee, sitting at our couches, hoping and praying. Well, not hoping and praying, just excited that the opportunity for us to, come out of India with a series win is upon us. But yeah, good luck to Temba and the Proteas. We'll be rooting for you. We love you guys. Yeah, the news from the camp sounds very positive. We're excited. Please, please, please do go and bring it home. From ourselves here at the SA Cricket Pod, thank you very much. And it's goodbye and lesale kakahiso.